Ladies and gentlemen, Liam Walker here for another episode of the Daxcast. Joining me now is the monster of the Midway, Tweedle Die. Tweedle, it's good to have you.
Great to be here. Hey, wake up. I got your nose.
Well, Tweedle, would you like to tell us how you got started in professional wrestling?
Does it matter?
I mean, the fans probably want to know.
All right. You know, I call myself the Lost Carnival Son, and you know wrestling got its start in the carnivals.
Indeed we do. Now, if you don't mind...
So that's where I got my start.
All right, good old school start for a good old school guy. Now I'm taking my damn nose back.
There we go. So next question for you, Tweedle, and yes, I'm covering my damn nose from you this time. If you weren't a wrestler, what would you be doing right now?
That's a funny question that you ask there, Liam Walker. Wet Willie.
Son of a bitch.
I'd be working in the circus sideshow.
So, Tweedle, who are some of your big influences in wrestling, and how have you incorporated some of their tactics and techniques into your arsenal?
Now you're covering your face and your ear.
Yep.
But not your nipples. Some of my tactics, I think you found out some of my tactics.
Playground tactics.
Yes. Purple nurples, wet willies, even the occasional swirlies.
Nope.
Some of my biggest influences are some of the biggest men in professional wrestling today and of the past. One being Yokozuna,
Great big man.
the great Big Van Vader,
Another good one.
Bam Bam Bigelow,
Awesome performer.
and some call him Kizarni, some call him Sin. I just call him my Uncle Sinner, Sin Bodhi.
He's good too. All right, so Tweedle, aside from purple nurples and other playground tricks, what are your plans going forward in the wrestling industry?
Well, one of my plans is to continue harassing you because, frankly, it's been quite fun. The other plan, well, Pinky, it's the same thing we do all the time, plan to take over the world. I plan to take over every promotion that I work for, and I plan on being their heavyweight champion.
Well, you'd certainly be an unbeatable one. I don't know anybody that could possibly topple you.
Noogie! Oh,
Not today. Hey, did you like that interview? You want to see more? Go to the Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling Patreon and become a $10 backer or above. That's just $10 a month, and you'll see behind the curtain in all great pro wrestling. And be sure to check. You son of a bitch!
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out shoptampabayprowrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.
And we're back here with the Daxcast. And we're here with none other than Hard Body, Ricky Roberts, Tweedle Die. And what else have you been called, Rick?
Also known as Rick Riot from back in my early days. of
Rick
starting.
Riot?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about Rick Riot.
Well, in 2001, you know, when I first started training, you know, that was the hip thing to do, was have the be your personality, be your own, you know, your own self amplified a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cranked up to 10. And that was how Rick Riot was born. Rick Riot trained in 2001 with some old timers. Actually, one of the trainers here locally, David Mercury, his father-in-law trained me in 2001. And we would train in this little storage unit, much like this, but smaller.
Like an industrial center, but smaller. Yeah.
and he had like a full size ring. I think it was like an 18-foot ring, and it was some pretty brutal times.
Yeah. Was the ring? Was it in good shape, or was it?
It was in pretty good shape. Yeah, I would say it was show worthy.
Yeah. And and what was his name?
His name was Lance Vlasic.
Oh,
the Black Knight.
Yeah, Becky's dad.
Yes.
Becky's dad. Yeah. Yep. I know Lance.
Yeah.
He also trained, to my knowledge, Navy SEAL. Is that correct?
I believe Navy SEAL.
Or worked with Navy SEAL.
Yeah, he worked with Navy SEAL. I believe Navy SEAL was trained back in the Malenko days in the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay, but it's same time frame though, I believe.
Probably 10-year difference.
Oh, really? Before?
Yeah,
Before? Wow. You know, when I met Lance, I didn't think he looked that very old. He looked pretty young, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Yeah. So he must have started pretty early himself. But yeah. So tell me. Well, I remember I think the first time. I can't remember the first time we met, but I remember the first time working a show in the back with you. And I don't know if you remember this. It was with Francis, Colonel Brute. Remember Colonel Brute at E1W? And Dale Mercury, David Mercury, shout out to the Technical Alchemist himself, had brought me along. I was one of his, Dave Mercury really put me under his wing when I first broke into this business. Kind of was my like I like to say, like my road coach when I broke in, and he brought me up to E1W, and I remember seeing you there, and I was like, wow, and he introduced me to Ricky, and the rest was history, I think.
Dax, you have to forgive me. I've been hitting the head a lot. I don't remember, and
but you did work E1W.
I also have a selective memory, so. Maybe E1W is one of those ones that I don't want to remember.
It was. You were at E1W.
I believe E1W was probably, I want to say, Homosassa at the Howard's Flea Market.
It was a flea market, yes, under a white tent.
Yeah.
A big white tent.
I was doing a favor for a friend.
Yes. But it was good times.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember there was a lot. I know Big Daddy Pimp was there.
Big Daddy Pimp.
Jay, yeah. Wilson. Jason Wilson.
Jason. Yeah, Jason. I know him as Casper because Casper and I actually trained together.
Oh, he was also
part of our class, yeah.
So he was also part of that regime there.
Jason Wilson was part of my class.
Who else was there?
Well, there was a gentleman. There wasn't a lot of us, and I can't remember all the students that were there at the time, but I remember Lance was there, his wife Susan. They're always very great to me. Mm-hmm. There was a gentleman by the name of Tim Towers. He was bless his soul. He's gone. He's gone from the planet. He's a 7-foot dude.
Wow.
Yeah, he had, and I don't mean any disrespect by this. Rest in peace, Tim. But he had a big Easter Island head. Mm-hmm. Like he had like this giant forehead. Mm-hmm. And he was
like the giantism.
Yeah,
like
he was kind of a scary looking human being. Mm-hmm. And the way that I got with Lance and Susan to train was I had worked at Walmart with Tim and this other gentleman, and his name is escaping me, but he was kind of a jerk. But
we don't keep him nameless.
Yeah, the jerk that shall remain nameless. Because I don't remember.
Not Tim. Tim
was a great man.
Yeah.
But it was pretty interesting times there.
And so when you were training, I guess did a lot of things like there's some students that just get in and everything is kind of natural. Obviously, you're a bigger gentleman, and you were a bigger gentleman then, I'm assuming.
When I first started training, I was sub 400 pounds. So
sub 400.
Yeah, I was less than 400 pounds. I would say I was probably around 350. Mm-hmm. This is just kind of right out of high school, and I wrestled at 275 weight class, heavyweight, and I would
amateur wrestling.
Yeah, wow. And I'd play football at 325 to 350. So cutting weight was a bitch.
Wow, that's a huge cut too.
Yeah, you're cutting. I'm trying to cut 50 to 75 pounds for wrestling, and it was tough.
Yeah.
The days of wearing trash bags in a hot car and just having bottles of water with you.
Just working pretty hard there to get that weight off.
Yeah.
Amateur wrestling. I would like to say, I did some of it like not in high school, but like middle school and stuff like that. But I've never been a fan of the weight cutting and all that. I get it, even doing competitive judo, like they want you. But I was already a bigger guy, so it was like I was at open weight or the heaviest weight class anyway. So I was never trying to cut under. But yeah, I mean, it's a real hard sport, and I don't know if I would let my kids actually do it unless they didn't have problems with weight. Like it was easy for them to cut, but if it's a struggle, like that's a lot of weight. Like 75 pounds is a whole human being when you're in high school for some people.
It was certainly tough. There was a lot of times that I didn't make weight.
So you basically came in to your professional wrestling training already being an athlete.
Yeah,
it's like a big guy.
Yeah,
but
I was a big guy, but I was certainly an athlete. I would say. I mean, I ran a 5.42 40-yard dash in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
At 300 pounds.
Wow.
I was pretty scary.
And Rick, how big are you now? About?
I am between 475 and 500. I fluctuate pretty.
And you're what, about 6?
I'm right at about 6 foot tall.
About 6 foot tall. So he's a big gentleman. But this guy, you folks at home, if you can't see him, you're not on our Patreon, but that's okay. But he is like a gazelle sometimes in the ring. I seen this guy do 3/4 rolls better than half our guys that are 150 pounds on the indies. So it's really cool to see you. Really, I'm a bigger guy. I'm 335 pounds myself. I respect that. You know what I mean? I respect when bigger. Like it's easy for a smaller guy. Let's just be honest. It's easier for them to do a lot of the warm-up drills and all those kind of things. So if you are going to make it through, it takes a lot to get through it, persevere, and get through that. Now, granted, us big guys, we probably can't run 15 miles, or our joints would just be ripped apart. But we condition ourselves to be able to perform. You and I, we wrestle in Florida, in the sun, sometimes outside, sometimes inside where it's very hot, sometimes
June 12th.
June
12th bash. Yeah. Another Beefo Brady show.
Cataclysm at Beef.
Cataclysm.
It's a Cataclysm now at
right.
Beefo Brady's. It is a free show. If you're interested, it is at Beefo Brady's in Forest Hills, which is just kind of off Dale Mabry and Bush Boulevard.
8810 North Himes Avenue.
Yep. You're free to come out. There will be limited available seats. We got about 100 seats, chairs that will be around the ring for you guys to enjoy. But come on down, get some good food, enjoy a free show. Hopefully I can hook you in and make you come down to our August show in St. Petersburg. So but cheap plug for us over here at Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. Moving back to Rick here. So, I mean, obviously, I've always been impressed, especially the way you work. You don't try to do things outside the means or things that don't make sense. I think that's a big issue that we have in this business is psychologically things should make sense, but you also still make the match fun. I think that's a lost art sometimes with a lot of folks. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like I said, I was trained in 2001. 2009, I met Sin Bodhi Kazarni, former WWE superstar. One of the silliest gimmicks that anybody could ever be strapped with. And he went out there and still won a match against MVP, who was the United States champion at the time.
Yeah, when he was like on top,
yeah.
MVP, really up there.
He was like upper mid card, champion, and Sin went out and got a victory, and so a few months after that, Sin had been let go, and say late 2009, I believe I have my timeline correct, 2009. Sin started coming around Bourbon Street over in Newport Richey, where I was working for ACW at the time. There was some folks out there like George Martell, I believe, was booking at the time. Ralph Mosca was there.
Ralph was the owner, or one of the primary owner.
One of the owners. And it was like ACW kind of revolving door of ownership there. George Martell was part of the book there, I believe, and then Eddie Torres was there, and a lot of the Bruce Santee were there. There was a lot of great talent in the state of Florida that came through ACW and Bourbon Street.
And that's American Combat Wrestling.
Yeah.
In Newport Richey.
Yes, that was American Combat Wrestling.
And at that time, correct me if I'm wrong, did Sin went through Florida Championship Wrestlings with Steve Kern, his camp.
Right.
But that was originally Steve was I don't want to speak for him, but basically he had his own school, which was Hard Knocks,
right?
Where David
School
Mercury which was over on in Carrollwood off of Gunn. At the Patriot Building, and he and then what happened was, because of his job at WWE or WWF, I'm not sure at the time what it was called, but at the Fed, he had a job as a road agent, and he also trained guys. So they actually kind of associated Florida Championship Wrestling with the feeder that at that time it was FCW, which would eventually turn into NXT.
Eventually, yeah.
But so was Sin a developmental talent at FCW? Like, he was already wrestled on the Indies, and then he went over.
Really, I don't know what the I don't know what the beforehand was with Sin. Before I met him, I don't really know. I know that he was on TV, and then he had got released. But when he did come through ACW, there was a point in time, I believe 2010, where he was actually the booker, and he was helping with the book at least. And he took one look at what was then hard body Rick Roberts with painted on abs and a feather boa, and was like, "I'm gonna take this kid under my wing." Yep. And he did. He took me under his wing. He taught me a lot. He gave me a character, and the character developed into what it is today. The character name was Tweedle Die. The character idea was a cross between Uncle Fester, a birthday clown, and the Tweedledee and Tweedledum from Alice in Wonderland. And it was kind of just like, you take this, I'm giving you an idea, you take this idea and make it your own.
Wow.
So I took the idea, I kind of made it my own, I ran with it.
So he planted the seed.
Correct. He kind of gave me an idea of a character that he wanted me to be, not just on wrestling shows, but as well as stage shows, which at the time we started doing carnival wrestling. Carnival wrestling stage shows at local bars in the area, up and down Ybor Strip. We've performed at Crowbar and numerous other local bars in town, and
So you're doing these stage shows.
so we're doing
in Ybor. Is it outside of Tampa as well?
It was primarily Tampa, but there was some shows that we got booked working at SuperCon down in Miami. We did some autograph signings for him, and he was then married to Stacy the Cat Carter from WWE fame.
The Cat.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler,
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was.
So she was with him before Jerry, or after?
No, this is all after.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
Cat got with.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of met afterwards.
Wow, I never knew that. That's pretty cool.
They I had a pleasure of being at their wedding.
Wow.
Unfortunate circumstances led them to no longer be together, and that's neither here nor there. I'm friends with both of them. They're great. They're both great people. They've treated me awesome through the years. We've known each other now for going on over a decade. Sin is still like an uncle to me, and I said that in previous interviews, and I call him Uncle Center for a reason. He's he took me under his wing. He's treated me great. If I need advice, he's my sounding board.
Yeah.
Hey, can you look at this promo? Hey, can you watch this match? Can you give me some advice? Can you, what do you think? Could I have done different? Could I have done something better? Could I have done something, moved something around? Hey, do you like this promo? Was it too aggressive? Was it not aggressive enough? Was it, not emotional enough? What do I need here or there? And he's always been awesome. I've got to meet a lot of cool people. Got to do a lot of neat things. These sideshow, freak show, stage shows that we would do, a lot of them would be at these little bars where metal bands would play. Like some of these local metal bands. There's
Is this all over like that? Not just like this area, like the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, it's kind of all over,
Yeah.
And we're up there on stage doing this crazy stuff and these crazy stunts, and he's letting somebody throw a dart at his back, and then he turns around. He's the only one that takes him in the chest.
Oh my gosh!
So you let somebody throw a dart.
A real dart,
chest,
not like some magnet or something.
No, it's a 100% real dart.
It would go into his chest.
It would go into his chest, and you'd pull him out, and it would just blood just running down. And he was.
So there's not much trick to it.
No,
It was just brutality.
It's just
Carnage.
take the pain.
Wow.
He used to do this thing where he would take a seahorse thing, like an old toy horse that kids would play on, and he would take a can of dog food and put his finger on the horse, and smash the dog food on his hand, and his finger would be fine. Big old dent in the food, the can of dog food.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
He was, as far as taking pain, this guy was, I wouldn't call him a masochist, but he could handle so much.
Wow. So you would do, like, what kind of things would he have you do?
I'd kind of just be background, for a while, and then I was the world's sexiest the world's largest lap dancer.
Oh my.
So I believe the time frame is still around the 2010 area, when Edge had tore his Achilles tendon, and Edge, Adam, and Sin are great friends. They grew up together in I believe Orangeville, Canada, Orangeville, Ontario.
Oh, he's Canadian. I didn't know
yeah.
Sin was Canadian.
Yeah, Sin's Canadian. His real name is Nick Svetkovich.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Him and Adam grew up great friends, and so Adam was living local at the time. Came to the show. We pulled him up on stage, and guess who got to give the rated R superstar, a triple X rated lap dance from a 600-pound man.
So you made it him rated R, and he stole your moves and
Right.
and performed it on Lita on Live on Raw.
Right. He stole my shit. He took my shit.
Stole my shit, brother. Don't steal my shit.
He made it. He once did an interview.
So what were you wearing during this lap dance?
So
to add some color to this. Conversation.
I mean, I'm a quite large, rotund, round, egg-shaped man. I look like a bowling pin with legs. So Sin, his idea was like, I want you to look kind of like the guitarist from AC/DC.
The one that would do that weird leg thing, the leg kick
with the cut off.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and he looks like a British boy, like a student, boy student in a prep school or something.
Yes. I want to say it's Angus Young, and so he was like, well, I kind of want you like Angus from AC/DC, but we're gonna get you this beanie with the propeller on top. And a bow tie, like a big-ass bow tie, like a clown bow tie that's this big. And suspenders. And we're going to, like, paint your eyes a little bit like it looks like you haven't slept in weeks. I was just like, all right, let's do it. I'm in.
So did you have to do anything else crazy with this?
I mean, we did some crazy stuff. We
like
played,
fire breathing or something, or spitting or whatever.
That's kind of came a little later in the year. But like as far as those shows, we did human whack-a-mole, which was
like when the gopher pops up and you hit him on the head.
Right. So what we would do is we'd get like motorcycle helmets and put them on each other and just whack each other with steel chairs until we couldn't take it anymore.
Is this online anywhere?
Absolutely. I don't know if it's still up, but you could find it on YouTube on the Sin versus Stacy YouTube page. Just type in Dynamite Death Monkeys on YouTube. And
Dynamite Death Monkey. Is that the stage show name?
Yeah.
Dynamite Death Monkey.
Dynamite Death Monkeys, yeah. And then we had, we had this 7-footer Titan with us, and Sean Osborne, who was rest in peace. He was also part of WWE Performance, era, FCW back before it was NXT, and he played a blind stuntman.
Oh my!
So he'd come out and like we'd do this big schmoz on the stage, and like one person would go down and Sin would be down on his belly, and then I'd come in and I'd get drop toe holded onto him, and so we'd be in the 69 position, and the blind stuntman would come in and act like he was like Ray Charles and play a piano on my ass, and it was
Oh yeah, I definitely have to. Oh, he found it. Ben looked it up and he found it.
Yeah, so we'd do that fun stuff, and like I said, the 7-foot Titan. You've probably met.
Mike. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mike's a good brother. Yeah,
great. He's a great human being, and we used to have so much fun just traveling the roads and screwing with each other. We were at IHOP one night, and I was trying to eat better, and I had this egg white steak omelet, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have a little treat. So I got some blueberry pancakes, and Mike reaches over and goes, "Hey brother, you gonna eat that?" Sticks his finger right down in the middle of my blueberry pancakes. So I just start eating them while he's got his finger in it. Make him look like a dick.
That sounds like something Mike would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, like, that kind of led to me getting a job, like a legit, hey, we want to work with you in the sideshow job. So I got to travel.
Tour. You're touring.
Tour. I got to tour with the World of Wonders sideshow, which is the last true traveling 10-in-1 sideshow still out there performing today.
They still go today?
Yeah.
Wow. Where do they go to, like in Tampa area?
They don't come local anymore. They used to do the Florida State Fair. They usually do Orlando now, the Orlando Fair. But they travel all over the nation.
Wow.
So they Sin got me hooked up with them. The owner, Chris Christ, and Ward Hall. He's known as the king of the sideshow. He passed away a couple of years ago. He was like 81 years old. He was a great human being, and they took me under their wings, and they taught me. They brought me on the road with them, and the original thing was we're just going to bring him out, and he's going to be the fat man for the sideshow. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I kind of want to learn to do something. I don't want to just be the fat guy in the sideshow. Mm-hmm. So they taught me how to eat fire and hammer a nail into my nose and put a spoon in my nose and lay on beds of nails and do all this crazy stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I was kind of unprepared. I didn't bring any cool tricks this time. I didn't bring any cool things to do. Maybe the next time, Tweedle Die round 2.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get that done. So you're doing that. Why did you stop doing the sideshow? I guess what happened?
It became a lot being away from family.
Yeah.
I'd go and do these month-long spots. It was a guest spot because they'd bring me out as, hey, this is Tweedle Die, professional wrestler. So it was a guest performance spot, and it just became a lot being away from family. And I'm very much a family man. And real life. I mean, real life sits in, settles in, and you start. I met at the time I met a girl, and I was like, thought that I was gonna, we were gonna kind of settle down, and that ended up being not a thing. Like, just kind of fell apart, and now I'm married to my beautiful wife, and we've been together going on 6 years in February.
Oh, excellent. And so when you were doing the stage show stuff, you were still wrestling.
Still wrestling.
And were you mainly just wrestling in the Florida Independents?
I primarily wrestled in Florida Independents, but I've been to 11 different states and wrestled in 11 different states.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any? At one time, you told me that you actually had a tryout with WWE.
I did have a tryout in WWE with WWE in 2012. It it didn't go so well because when I got there, it was I was out of shape. I hadn't been in a ring in 2 or 3 months. I wasn't ring ready. My cardio sucked. I blew it. I blew it. But it wasn't a tryout camp like they are now. It was, hey, they got my email from someone, which was awesome. I'm glad somebody reached out to me.
Yep.
And I'm glad somebody was looking out for me.
Thought most of you to actually recommend you.
Right.
I mean, I think that's a big piece too.
So I got to try out. I got to go and try out in front of Norman Smiley and
was it Regal?
Regal was there.
Matt Bloom?
This was before. This
Bill
was before
DeMott?
Bloom. This was Bill DeMott.
Okay.
And they all had one good thing to say, and it was that my bumps were excellent. They said for a 500-pound man, you bump really well. And they wanted to see more, and like I said, I had dropped the ball. I was very unhealthy at the time. It wasn't good. So I was really disappointed in myself, and I took a little bit of a hiatus, I guess, away from wrestling at the time.
Yeah.
Because I was really down on myself and disappointed, and I kind of had fallen into some depression at the time, and I probably took about 6 months.
Wow.
Kind of just to myself to kind of reflect on that missed opportunity,
Mm-hmm. Because you don't know if that's ever going to come again, and,
right?
And it may not, and that's not the end of the world. But I think a lot of people in this business, or people that want to get into business, people that are early in the business, and even people that have been around for a while, they don't realize the mental angst that you're going to put yourself like we all know about the physical side.
Yeah.
I think everybody's out, like, that's pretty obvious. But the mental toll it takes on you, seeing guys that getting opportunities that have been in wrestling not as long as you, or maybe they weren't the guys that paid the dues or set up the ring or did all the things that you're told that you're supposed to do because that is the right thing to do. But you see some people get opportunity. You see some people get signed, and you're like, "How did that happen?" And I'm still sitting here.
Yeah.
But I always say, you can't focus on what you can't control, and the only person you can control is yourself.
Yeah, I'm always happy for my friends. It's great to see a lot of. It's great to see a lot of talent go out there and get signed or do, dark matches or what have you. I'm always proud of my friends. I don't ever let what my friend's success is hold me back or make me upset, because why would I'm the one that's not up to par if I'm not getting those opportunities, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be upset at my friends because they're getting opportunities. I should be happy for my friends and proud of my friends.
Exactly. I admire whenever I see.
I've been on numerous shows with guys that have been to the top, and I've been on shows that where I think that guys have potential. I love coming and seeing the new talent. And I mean, I try to take guys under my wing and take them and get them opportunities elsewhere, so they have another place to work other than, not for nothing, but if your guys are working here in Tampa Bay Pro, hey Dax, you got anybody that wants to get in the car and go to such and such show?
I've been one of those folks.
Yeah.
I remember we had a long trip up to Alabama, and I think it was New Wave.
Yep.
With Ken.
Yep, Ken Wheeler.
Yeah, with Ken. His company, we wrestled in an old car dealership. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it was an old.
It was an old car dealership. Ken rolls up in this Escalade. I remember vividly because I still see Ken all the time. Shout out to Ken.
Yeah.
He's Hollywood. He's Hollywood.
Ken Wheeler is Hollywood, and
He's Hollywood.
I like
that's his gimmick. I can't tell you. Really,
I like Ken a lot. Ken is really good people. His wife Kelsey is a very, very nice person too.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, and I see him pretty much every time I go up to SWA up in Payville, Georgia.
Yeah. Also, that company's run with some awesome people
Preston,
too.
yeah, he's fantastic.
Preston's good people too.
And but going back to that, so we're there, and I remember we get there, and they had a brand new ring. It was a 16-foot ring, and it was a low boy.
Low boy, yeah.
And it was so new that they never put it together yet. So we got there, and the ropes, it was a monster ring, and I own 2 monster rings, so I know. The ropes, when you get the ropes, they're loose when you get them because they just hang them to make sure that they fit, and then it's your job to tighten them up. Well, no one tightened the ropes up. And so we're literally, like, the ropes are not taut at all. And I'm like, guys, just get a ratchet out and, like, get that done. But it was too close to the show time, and they're like, we got to do the show. So everybody literally wrestled in that ring with loose ropes. You could, like, if you hit the ropes, you literally had to fake it so you wouldn't fall through them. So it was like, just don't hit the ropes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't hit them at all.
Yes. But anyway, that was an awesome car trip. I think we killed an armadillo. On the way home.
I'm pretty
sure at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm pretty sure I hit an armadillo.
Yes, and I just said, keep going, bro.
Listen,
just keep going.
On my most recent car trip to New Heights, I'm pretty sure I killed an owl that was just standing in the road.
Oh, jeez.
Don't tell my wife. My wife loves owls, and if she ever finds out, she'll probably kill me.
Was that the car we rode? Was that a Mazda?
Yeah,
it was a Mazda
5.
Mazda. It was a bigger Mazda.
It was cool. It was like this little minivan, but not a minivan. It was they call it a sport wagon.
Yeah. I liked it. And for people to know, Rick is an awesome wheelman. Rick don't let anyone else drive. He drives the whole time. He don't trust it. I think
I don't trust anybody.
Is there more to that? Is it just you just don't trust people?
No. Well, see, okay. My grandfather, this is kind of off subject, but my grandfather was a police officer, and my granddad would never let anyone else drive, ever. He didn't trust anybody. So he would literally trust when I got my license because he taught me how to drive. Mm-hmm. I could drive. He taught my uncle how to drive. My uncle could drive. No one else. My mother couldn't drive. My grandmother couldn't drive. He insisted on driving everywhere. He would do all the errands. He would do all the running. Didn't care. He didn't want to. He wanted to be behind the wheel. And I think a lot of it was just because of who he was as a person. If anything was gonna happen bad, it was gonna be on him.
He wanted the responsibility.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a very noble thing.
And I feel like that's kind of how I am. Like if something bad is gonna happen, it's gonna be on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want anybody else to end up having that on their shoulders.
Gotcha. You want to take the brunt of that if something happens. Well, that's very, very noble. And I don't sleep in the car very well, so I was up the whole time with you being your navigator there.
Well, which is awesome.
The two biggest guys.
7-hour road trips, are tough when it's 7 hour one way or more. 6 hour
it's
one
7
way.
hours there.
Yeah.
Be at the show for 4 hours. Get some food. Try to get some food, and then 7 hours home.
Yeah.
So you're home at 7 o'clock in the morning.
6:37.
Yeah, and your day's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and I'm still at 38 years old doing these long 5.5, 6 hour road trips,
Yeah.
driving the whole way, and usually have to be at work at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Yep. He's crazy. He's crazy. I don't work on the weekends, only wrestle. So that's really cool. That's really noble, and to the young guys out there, look out for each other on the road when you are traveling. Be responsible. Don't drink and drive.
Absolutely.
That kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Ben, what time are we at?
11:35.
11:35. No, what time is that at?
Oh, the second take is 26 minutes.
We're at 26 minutes.
For the second take, I don't know what the first one was.
Okay. So Rick, I guess, how do you see currently the wrestling scene on the independents in Florida, or the South in general?
I don't do a lot of local stuff anymore. I don't see a lot of the local guys. I love having Tampa Bay Pro come out to the restaurant. I can kind of get a grasp of some of the new guys and some of the new girls and stuff. I was always taught, leave wrestling better than how you found it.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal was always to try and leave it better than how I found it. Part of that is, professionalism. I try to be very courteous and professional, in the locker room, at a show. If I'm at a show and I'm not on the show, I will generally pay to go sit in the crowd if I'm not on the show. Unless I'm invited, and somebody's like, hey,
invited, come talk to the guys.
Right, come hang out, I think that's important because you're supporting, the business and the future, How I see it, it's going to thrive. We've got a lot of great talent, up and coming talent. There's a lot of guys that I've seen. There's so many schools locally. You've got the Wrestling Lab with Jay Lethal and David Mercury and Big Con. You've got Death Proof
and Matt Seidel.
Matt Seidel's over there too.
I believe Matt is over there. Don't quote me, Matt, but I believe Matt's over
That's
there.
new to me, so I apologize. You've got the Death Proof Dojo, which is Tampa with Chris Silvio and Vic. You've got Frankie and the WWN training school.
Francisco
Chiazzo, and Sideshow is helping there as well. You've still got the Dudley influenced school in Orlando,
Devon,
which is Devon Dudley Academy.
Yep.
You've got so many good places to go and learn pro wrestling.
Flatbacks.
That's
Another one.
Yep.
Tyler Breeze,
and then
Sean.
Natalia Neidhart and Tyson Kidd have a school here in Tampa as well.
In Wested Chapel, Zephyr Hills area.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's a actual, like, you can enroll. I think that's an invite-only type situation.
Right,
But still, there's
they're still training students.
They're churning folks out. And I guess right now, I always look at the I think right now, personally, I think we're in a weird lull in independent wrestling specifically, and it's not just Florida. I think because we're still getting out of the COVID times.
Yeah.
People's just general behavior changed during that time. People got used to just kind of watching content online, they dabbled with streaming services, things like that. Because there weren't sports going on during that time. So they started dabbling into Disney Plus, and now we got Peacock, the WWE Network.
all
You
these
had
other streaming services.
New Japan Pro Wrestling, if you're into that. Impact Plus on FITE. There was all sorts of these different avenues that were out there, and there's a lot of wrestling on YouTube, on Daily Motion, on all these other sites, on FITE, that you don't need. There's no paywall. You can essentially watch I'm over at MLW, and at MLW, our product is free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And FITE TV.
That's
so,
also, and let me cut you off. I think that MLW puts some of the best wrestling shows on TV right now.
I appreciate
Wrestling.
that because I'm part of that team, and we work really hard, and they they rest their hat on excellence in wrestling, and there is some fun gimmick stuff and things like that. It's a really well balanced show, but wrestling is the focal point, and I think that's wonderful. I think that as a professional wrestler and a fan of professional wrestling, as all of us are in wrestling, I think that's really important to the product. Shout out to MLW. We are filming next week in Philadelphia at 2300 Arena.
That's awesome. That's the ECW arena.
Yes, it is.
This
awesome.
is
probably my 5th or 6th time performing there.
So many names have gone through that building, and when you talk about wrestling, you talk about Raven, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Taz. Even as a kid, I wasn't really big into ECW. When I got into wrestling, I was a WCW fan because that's what we had locally.
Yep. And a lot of local guys were over there too.
A lot of local guys were over there. Yeah.
So MLW is Friday the 13th, May 13th, 2022. 2300 Arena. Tickets are on sale at MLW.com. Come check us out. The tickets are very affordable. It's a fun show, and just it's well worth the price of admission and more. And if you come out there and you want an autograph from Dr. Dax, just ask the folks, okay? I'll hook you up. Just say you listen to the Daxcast. Anyway, moving on to business at hand.
You asked me earlier how I got in. Well, Liam actually asked me how I got into pro wrestling, and the funny thing is my uncle was trained by the Malenkos.
And who was your uncle?
His name was Brian Wade, and he never really did much. He did a couple of shows for Old Man Malenko.
Boris,
yes, correct.
Dean and Jody's father.
Dean and Jody's dad, and we always called him the Old Man. My granddad and I would go, and he'd bring him a cup of coffee in the morning, and we'd just sit and watch them train, watch the students, and we saw so many names come through there, but at the time they weren't names.
Yeah.
Lightning Kid,
X-Pac,
right? Eddie Guerrero was
X-Pac actually was from St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
I never realized that until I was at the Hard Rock Casino and met Sean.
Yeah.
Sean Waltman, X-Pac.
Sean
there, and he talked with me for like 30 minutes when I said I was. I would think I was training at the time, but
Sean is one of the most sincere, nicest human beings on the planet Earth.
Yep.
He is such a nice guy. But Eddie Guerrero, and this is a hush name, like Chris Benoit used to come through there when I was a kid.
So I'm confused. So Eddie lived in Land O'Lakes, to my knowledge, and Chris. So why was Eddie? So I guess Eddie was there because it was local and he just needed a gym to work out in. Is that what it was?
Through and see
work out with Dean. I guess he's friends with Dean.
He's friends with Dean.
Yeah.
They've been friends with Dean and Jody for years. And Joe, I still get to see Joe occasionally at the Legends lunches.
Yep, we just saw him this past Friday. Friday.
Yeah,
when we were there.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him.
And he's still jacked.
Oh, yeah.
He's still jacked.
Yeah, and he will stretch you like a damn pretzel if you let him. Don't play him.
Yep.
Do not mess with him. He will turn you inside out and use you as a puppet.
Yeah. Amazing guy. Compared, so I think right now we're at this weird time where people are used to getting things for free.
Right.
Yes, so they can watch online, watch from the comfort of their home, their safety of their home, I guess. It depending on how you look at the world. But, so we're still kind of trying to pull folks out. And I really think like these vault shows that, Beefs is sponsoring for the Tampa Bay Pro, this is really helping us kind of like regarner
Some attention.
Yeah. Also in our old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Because we used to run over the Big Top in Hillsboro,
Yeah.
and this allows some of those folks to come out, and it's like, hey guys, St. Petersburg isn't that far away. We run shows in Pinellas. Right. It's not that far to track over.
I think it's just, it's time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been almost 3 years. It's time. Everybody's ready to come back, and it's part of our job as promoters or entertainment side of things to bring them back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Movie theaters are still struggling.
Yep.
But the box office numbers are still there.
Yeah.
So that we know that people are wanting to see the entertainment.
And pro wrestling, you need fans.
Correct.
We've
It's
tried,
so
like
tough.
the pandemic days, we did do some close,
so tough.
and it's very difficult without that energy to feed off of.
like you said, at the end of the day, we're fans. And, I try to watch current product. And, during the Thunderdome times, it was so hard to watch wrestling.
And here's the thing. They tried. Like, dude.
They thought outside the box. And
I
they
respect the shit out of those tech guys, the production guys, for putting that, like, freaking 300 Zoom calls, video walls up, and then you don't know what the hell these people are going to do on those video walls. I mean, what repercussion is there? Turning you off. That's all they can do. So I mean, you had some craziness that was going on with that, which kind of made it a little bit fun in a sense because we laugh it off. But regardless, I applaud them. I really do. We taped 4 months of shows at MLW over at the Gilt in Orlando with no fans. I literally pipe and draped the half that building off, and we wrestled for 12 hours a day. Well, not everyone. 12 hours of video shooting a day almost. I felt like, it may have been a little less actual video, but still, it was a lot of work, and it was hard without fans.
Yeah.
And we need you guys. We need the fans out there. You guys. It's just like watching football. Like trying to watch football without fans. Like right now, watching what is it? USFL.
USFL is tough.
It's
so hard to watch
it's almost like like even if these guys are really good, I really don't want to watch this because I like football. But do I like it enough to sacrifice like some of the fun thing or like that deficiency exists there? Personally, I think they should just let people in for free and then just see who shows up. But
not like they would lose anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
they wouldn't lose anything and just stick everybody on Hardcam side. But they should try. But that's just I'll get off my soapbox about that. But I think it's just it's not a quick fix. I've seen some. Yeah,
holy water spread. Soapbox.
I think we're getting to the point where things are going to start picking up. Finally, thank goodness. And it's just a matter of time, and we just got to keep working hard. At Tampa Bay Pro, I kind of held off. I had a lot of video, but I kind of held off on producing it so often because when we did come back, I wanted to be ready to rock and roll. Because honestly, I didn't know when we were going to have to stop again.
Yeah.
We kept getting these situations where we had to stop and go, and I kind of just held it up, and I was like, I'm gonna get this stuff ready to rock and roll, but we'll start it on a regular schedule when we get back to
right,
this. So.
Especially here in Florida because there was no real certain answer. It was just all right. Well, you can do this, but you can't do this.
Yeah.
Why can't I do that? It's like the same thing as that.
Yeah. It's just a lot of contradictory stuff that was going on. And, being a guy, that has a training center, that was hard, too. I had a lot of guys drop off because they were afraid of training. Or their wives were getting on them or their husbands were getting on them about it. Yeah. So, there was a constant battle. And but here we are. We're still here. I guess why did you become a professional wrestler? I didn't get to that really.
Why did I?
Yeah. So you're growing up, you're playing, you're doing all these sports, football, amateur wrestling, etc. Why? What got you into wrestling? Actually, like made you a fan? I guess at first?
Sting.
That's funny because Boone said the same thing. Stang.
Stang, baby.
Stang.
Stang.
And
It's Sting. That's my Tony Schiavone.
so Sting. So are we talking Beach Boy Sting?
We're talking Beach Boy Sting. Rat tail, blonde, cut off, crew cut.
Yep.
Paint, makeup, colorful, bright colors.
Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta interject here. Why does Sting do the woo? And Ric Flair does the woo.
It's a different woo
How is it different?
because when Flair does the woo, it's woo. It's a more
From the
who.
chest?
Yeah. When Sting does it, it's woo. It's like a battle cry.
I mean,
It's a different kind of woo.
I think that's somewhat gimmick infringement, personally.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm sorry. I gotta think Rick gave him heat. at
He
first.
probably still gives him shit to this day.
Like, you stole my shit, bro.
You stole my shit. That's
You
my
stole my
shit. I'm
shit.
the woo guy.
But isn't it like I can't be like? Have you thought about that before? I can't, Ben, have you thought about that? You never thought like, why is this guy wooing?
Because to me it always sounded like,
Right. It's more of a. It's not really more of a. It's not so much.
It's a woo. What
It's,
do you?
it's a woo, not a, like woo.
This is a technicality, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna let you off on here.
But I love-
it's the
I
same.
love
It's the
Sting.
same thing.
I love Sting.
Okay, we'll get
'Cause-
off the woo thing.
Okay, so Sting, bright colors, bright makeup.
Neon, pink,
Right.
orange.
But he was also very athletic and muscular. Like he drew people in.
Okay, here. So one other thing. So
And then again,
the reason Sting is named Sting, is it because he's a scorpion? And scorpions sting? Do scorpions sting, Ben?
they have stingers on their tails.
So that's why he's called Sting.
Yes.
Because he's a scorpion.
Yes.
Is that right?
Sting.
Sting.
Stang.
Sting. Hey, do you know White Scorpion?
I do know why.
You know White Scorpion? So there's a guy in the Florida Indies, and he's Beach Boy Sting.
He's Sting.
He pulls it off too, by the way. He
He's-
looks fantastic.
He does look a lot like Sting, and he comes to every show in a suit,
A faux suit.
like a
three-piece suit.
3-piece suit, and tie, and he's Sting.
He's Sting, but he's White Scorpion.
Yeah.
I like him. I would like to know more. I've only met him twice.
I have done shows with him a few times over the years,
And he's fit as fuck, too.
yeah, he's in
great
great shape. He's kind of older fella. He's probably my age, if not older.
He's over 40. He has
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
I would think.
I know that he used to work for Al Hardiman. Rest in peace, Al Hardiman. Al Hardiman used to run shows back in the day, and they were not real great shows. But you start somewhere, right?
Everyone got to start somewhere.
Right.
Even White Scorpion.
Even White Scorpion.
White Scorpion. Awesome. So Sting. So, okay, let's get back to Sting. I'm sorry, I keep getting off derailed, but that's the best part about it. It's my show, right? So, whatever.
Hey, it's your show.
Who booked this shit?
You did. You literally
Sting-
messaged me yesterday, said, "Hey, can you be on the podcast?" Sure.
Hey, this was been planned for months. Listen, this is a professional podcast. This is a world-class studio that we're
I
shooting
said my
in here.
pleasure via text message yesterday.
Listen, I'm not doing this to be the best podcast in Florida, okay?
Well, then what the hell are you in it for?
At this point, we're the only damn podcast.
We're the only because we need a podcast centralized in Florida
Whoa,
that
whoa,
talks
whoa,
about
whoa.
that talks about wrestling.
Does
Handshakes is gone.
Demon Road Diaries.
Demon's gone,
gone?
as far as we know.
In
So- Nova's thing
Nova,
gone.
little midget doing no?
Little midget.
Yeah, Nova.
Oh, Aaron?
Yeah.
No,
He's tiny.
He doesn't do anything.
Oh,
Like
okay.
POW did like one episode of the podcast. They stopped.
That was a webcast, I think. What?
You see the look on my face. I'm very confused. I don't know what the difference between podcast and webcast are.
Well, this is both.
Okay.
We're both, brother.
Oh, cool.
This is Patreon webcast. And if you want to
all
see
right, I want
our
my
mug,
cut.
if you want to
I
see,
want my cut.
Tweedle
Cut
Die.
me a check.
Shh. Listen. I got your blueberry pancakes at IHOP. Believe me, I got you.
All right, dinner after a show.
Okay, I won't put my finger in it.
You promise?
But Ben might put something else in it. Never mind.
No, whoa,
Okay.
whoa. X-rated.
Cut. We don't need dirty Dax here.
Dirty Dax. So I tried to. You said dirty Dax. I want to tell you. I tried a country gimmick, and I was
a country gimmick.
I tried a country gimmick a few years ago, and I was Dirty Dick Roberts.
Dirty Dick Roberts.
Came out with a cowboy hat and blue jeans and a vest on.
You know, your tag partner should have been Richard Delicious.
You know,
Shout out to Wayne Van Dyke.
Rest in peace, Wayne. And Wayne was my tag partner for several years.
Yep, but you never as that gimmick.
Never as that gimmick.
But that would have worked.
That would have worked.
I guess so. Sting got you influenced.
Sting got me in.
So, but he got. I guess if you watch WCW, everybody, it was Sting.
Yeah,
like
it was
he
Sting.
was the Hogan.
It was Sting.
You know,
Sting
of
was
WCW.
WCW Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah. Before Hogan was the
Right
WCW Hogan.
right before WCW.
And then he didn't even like being Hogan in WCW. He became Hollywood Hogan.
Right.
But that's a whole other story. And it made lots of money. So Sting got you into it, and you were just watching it. Like, did you have cable? Like, I was poor. I didn't have cable. I watched
We
WWE
had cable.
Super.
We had
WWF
cable,
Super.
and I would go over to my uncle's house. My uncle Brian, who was, like I said, was trained by the Malinkos. So we would go watch WCW Saturday night, Saturday morning.
What show, WCW?
Saturday,
like whatever this.
Saturday Night Live. The
See,
show
I
that
never
was on,
watched that one.
6:05 on TBS.
It was TV. Is this when the guys were in Orlando shooting?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. I don't.
But those weren't just job matches? I thought they were made the enhancement type matches.
I don't know.
But you remember watching it?
Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
kid, man.
Yeah.
It's we're talking over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I said, my uncle was in. He got in the business. Like, he was trained by Jody and Dean and the old man Malenko, and that's kind of how I was there.
So you were watching. So
So-
you were getting hit from multiple angles.
Right.
So you were
So
a
we're-
TV fan, and then
Right.
you were also you had family in the business.
Right. So we're at the school one year off of Lazy Lane.
Yep.
And they had the ring. They had two rings. One ring, then there was like a dip, and then there was another ring. Well, usually one ring they would use for like shooting, like Jody would train, with all the guys that wanted to learn the more advanced stuff on how to protect yourself and whatnot. And then Dean and the old man would kind of teach the wrestling, if you will. So I couldn't have been but 10 or 11 years old, and I walk in and Dean's asking me, he goes, "Where's your girlfriend?" I was like, "I'm a kid. I don't have a girlfriend." He goes, "No, where's your girlfriend?" "Little Debbie." And I chased Dean all around that gym. I probably lost 15 pounds just chasing Dean, because he would go around one ring, up into the ring, down into the dip, up into the next ring, and I'd just be trying to follow him the best I could, and he'd just keep running me. And like I said, I'm 10 or 11 years old, so I'm just a little pudgy, little fat kid running around the gym at this point, chasing Dean.
Jason Dean, the Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds.
Because a lot
The
of people,
Iceman.
right? A lot of people didn't see, like, they saw Dean Malenko on TV and they're like, he's kind of boring or bland, because he's a fantastic wrestler, but as far as entertaining, he didn't hold a lot of entertainment value. But the funny part about Dean was a jokester, man. He was such a prankster. He would just he would rib people all the time. He was always just busting balls, and it was so fun. So I really it's so memorable to me, and the way I was treated as a child by these guys stuck with me all these years.
Yeah.
And,
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and they I've always was a fan. I've always been a fan.
So would you go to independent shows back then?
I never went to independent shows.
Did you know they existed?
I not until 2001 did I know when I was training that independent shows existed.
I'm the same way. Well, I knew there was independent, but when I was that age, we're about the same age.
I was like 18.
I was like in high school. I'm like, there's wrestling, like to me, it was like there's backyard wrestling, trampoline wrestling, basement wrestling.
That's what we used to do in high school.
Right. Or amateur wrestling, or at UFC. We knew like old UFC at that time with Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock and stuff like that. But
Tank Abbott,
like the bar fighting style. So you were a fan back then,
right?
And then what made you? So was it your uncle's influence that you're like, hey, I want to train as well?
Yeah, and he actually for the first couple of weeks he would go to training with me, and he would get in the ring and he would help train the students and stuff. There with Lance and Susan, and because he knew his stuff,
So this is probably so when you first got in, like your first, like when did you take your first bump? You think what year?
2001.
2001.
Yep.
So
first match didn't come until about 2004 because I had some stuff come up. I was 18 years old. A lot of stuff happened. Life sometimes comes fast.
Yeah.
But I still tried to get in and train and do stuff where I could. But
was Lance hard on you because you were a big guy?
Lance was not hard on me. There was a guy there. The guy that was supposed to remain nameless, his name was Tom, now that I think about it.
We'll just leave it at Tom.
Well, I don't know his last name, so.
Okay.
But Tom was a complete dickhead. And he would chop the shit out of me just for no fucking reason.
I hate that shit. Like, chopping in practice.
No,
listen. Why fucking chop?
Like, I'm okay with chopping in practice. But you don't need to chop me fucking 40 times.
No, that's what I mean. Like, people would, like, rip each other apart in practice.
I don't need to go home with a bloody freaking chest.
Yeah.
From training. Like, I get it. I know what a chop feels like. You don't need to make me bleed and cut me open.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so so you go through, you train for what, about a year, and then you kind of on and off a little bit?
Yeah, well, kind of like, so I trained with them for probably like 8 weeks or so.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, I had some stuff come up financially. I couldn't afford to pay for school anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of fell away from it for a little bit. But then I had met some people that had a ring, and we'd roll around in the backyard or whatever. And then 2004.
So you stayed in shape, basically.
Yeah.
In that time, it wasn't like you were gone.
Right.
You
I wasn't like gone.
Completely checked out.
I'd still be like.
But you're like, hey, I trained.
Right. Like,
I
hey,
finished up, but I need to stay try to stay in shape if I'm really gonna do this later.
Right. So like 2004, I started kind of working some shows down in like Ruskin area, and Riverview and Gibsonton. And my first 3 years, I worked probably 500 matches in a year.
Wow.
Because I would.
And there was a lot of shows. Like back in 04?
I would do every show that I could. If I was doing a triple shot, if I could do a triple shot, I was doing a triple shot. If I could do a show Friday and then 2 shows Saturday and then a show Sunday, I was doing it.
Wow. Yeah.
And before I knew better, before I knew we had a bump card, I was bumping all the time.
Wow.
I would bump for guys 3, 4, 5 times a match, 6 times a match.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so were the paydays better back then?
Hell no, they weren't better back then.
Well, see, like, here's the thing that guys tell me. They're like, man, in the early 2000s, you would never make less than $50.
I guess it kind of depends who you were and who you were working for.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? I was doing a lot of what they would call kind of outlaw mud shows, making $10, $12, $15 and a hot dog.
Yep.
But my
But
first,
you're breaking in.
yeah, my first 3 years, I thought that was what it was. You know, like that's what you get.
Yeah. So who was your first match? Can you remember?
First match, I cannot honest to God, first match I can't remember.
Like in a show, like a public
Yeah,
show,
I couldn't.
not training or something.
I couldn't like off the top of my head I couldn't remember.
How many matches do you think you've had in your life, like not counting training, like only like actual public shows?
I would say at least a couple thousand.
A couple thousand,
At
wow.
least, because like I said, for the first 3 years, I probably wrestled 500 shows a year.
Yeah.
Because I was wrestling every weekend, sometimes 2 and 3 times a
And,
weekend.
and at that time, the industry was on fire,
Yeah,
like crazy.
yeah.
And so, years go by. I need to ask, because you have been around this long. So when the whole Benoit incident happened, and you know how WWE kind of went more corporate, did you guys see a drop in shows and in interest in professional wrestling on the indies at that time, or did it not affect it at all?
I don't think it honestly affected it really at all.
Not at all.
I don't think so.
I'm
I
just
think that
curious.
I think it stayed pretty steady.
Gotcha. Do you think that there's more wrestlers or less wrestlers now on the independents?
Oh, there's got to be more.
A lot more.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we talked about it earlier. There's so many. Let's adjust this microphone. I want to be able to
Yeah.
project. There's so many schools. There's so many places that are popping out.
So
Talent.
there wasn't that many schools back then?
I don't recall that there was.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we knew we had the
Because
Malinkos.
it was tougher finding schools.
Yeah.
Like I think I remember seeing an ad for the Malenko school in like a PWI magazine before I was old enough to get in the business. But by the time I was old enough to start training, the Malenko school was closed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I ran into the same thing. Like, one of the reasons I moved from Rochester, New York, finished up some college stuff, got my associates, and moved down here to finish up my college, my bachelor's. And one of the big reasons was because I did want to wrestle. And I knew Hulk Hogan was in Florida, in Tampa. I knew that there was Dean Malenko School. And by time I got around, I looked into it when I first got here, but I was doing college, and then I working in the tech world and all that kind of stuff, kind of breaking in that business. But I knew it was around, and I remember looking up Dean Malenko's school, but Dean was gone. The school was gone, but I remember Lazy Lane was there because I actually ended up buying a house near Lazy Lane, like not that far in Plantation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a small world that we live in. But yeah, I remember, because we're around the same age, like up in upstate New York, there were no schools. If you wanted to go wrestle school, you had to go Kowalski's in Boston.
Yep.
Like that was like you heard about Johnny Rod's later, after ECW started taking off, because like Bubba Ray Dudley and those guys were trained at Johnny Rod's, but that was about it. Like, you didn't, like, up there, and you heard about Monster Factory with Mike Sharp and things like that. But
Iron Mike Sharp.
Yep.
One of the best trainers in the country.
Yep. And Monster Factory still goes. Actually, shout out to Monster Factory. They're helping us out next week at MLW. We got a bunch of their camp kids coming in. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to, get into wrestling. And what happened was, when I knew there was wrestling here, I knew there was some way I was going to break it. And I knew Dusty Rhodes had a hand in independence in this area. And I knew there was FCW. Okay, so it's really cool how kind of life circles back, right? And I ended up training in Clearwater with Jay Lethal, at the time, and it was the best thing I ever did. But when I first came to the school, I wanted to go to Dean Malenko School. That's what I wanted to do, and it just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that school was they were the epitome of wrestling excellence.
They trained freaking Mike Awesome.
They've trained so many good, solid Kane.
Yep.
Went through there. Molly Holly. You know,
So many.
6 X-Pac, whatever you want to call him.
In such a diverse group too.
Right.
Not just like you're perfect. At that time 6'6", 300 pounds of pure muscle type guys. They trained everybody, all shapes and sizes.
They train anybody that could come and pay dues.
Yep.
If you could pay your dues to be there and you wanted to be there, they would train you.
Yep. It's wild.
Dax, I hate to cut you short, bro.
I know I think we got to finish it up. Man, it's late. This just
Brother's got work in the morning.
Yeah, he got to work. So I guess we're going to have to extend this at some other point, to be continued, with Tweedle Die, Rick here.
Tweedle Die Part 2.
At some point.
Part 2.
But I do want to make sure we get your plugs in. Anything you want to plug today? Any shows, promotions, merch store? We need to get you on the merch site, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have to work on something.
We'll get with you on that. New Heights Wrestling, May 14th in Defuniak Springs. I believe we're at the Walton County Fairgrounds. Bell time is 6:30. I don't have the info right in front of me. Okay. June 12th, 8810 North Himes Avenue, Beefo Brady's, Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling presents
Cataclysm.
Cataclysm. That's the voice right there, the voice.
Our main event will be Mr. Stephen Frick, the heavyweight champion, versus the Lion from Zion, Samson.
How dare you?
Nearly 7
How
feet
dare
tall.
you?
Can he defend the title? We're gonna
How
have to
dare
find
you?
out. We got a women's
How-
triple threat that I'll be announcing. You're breaking shit.
I am breaking shit. How dare you?
Okay.
You put someone else in the main event, you son of... I'm just kidding. I don't want to be in the main event. I want to be
Tweedle Die.
curtain jerking.
Tweedle Die is going to be with his manager, the Princess of Weir, Trent Johnson, will be
versus that
facing
scumbag.
the Barnabas Scum, or Barnabas K. It's something like he has K Scum or something involved in.
He's a
his name.
scumbag.
No,
He's a real.
You guys are the scumbags.
No.
Princess Josh was unfair to him.
Me and Princess Josh, we preach nothing but love, my friend.
All right, he's getting his grudge match against Tweedle Die. I don't know what's going to happen to Tweedle, but maybe Ricky Roberts can help him out. All right, is that all you have to plug?
I mean, yeah, for right now. Maybe
I'm
like
telling you, this is the most professional podcast possible.
I was very unprepared for this. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to bring stuff,
but
and I
that's the
didn't.
point. But that's the point. I wanted this to be organic. I wanted to listen. I don't want you to be prepared.
You sure you don't want it to be orgasmic?
Oh Jesus!
Give me a whole yeah.
It is past midnight at this point.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I got one more question. I always throw a curveball at the end.
I want to knock it out of the park.
Okay.
Can't even think.
Definitely next time we got to talk about the future of Tweedle Die, wrestling wise. But I do want to ask if you could wrestle anybody that's a current wrestler that's still alive. Well, I guess it would still have to be alive. Current wrestler, whether on TV or not, independence, doesn't matter. If you could wrestle anybody right now, and you can have not wrestled them before, who would it be and why?
There's a guy out in California.
Another California guy. Our last guy.
Or Vegas. Maybe he's out in Vegas.
Vegas, maybe?
There's a couple of guys up there on the top that are from out the West Coast. And I'm going to plug him real hard. I am Funny Bone from the West Coast is fantastic. And if you're not booking this guy across the country, you're stupid and you're not making any money. And two,
I'm stupid, apparently.
And it's not. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
No, it's okay.
But the guy, he's really good.
He's incredible. I saw him at No Peace in Dallas.
There's another guy that I would love to work, and his name he wrestles as the ghost of Macho Man, and he is
what?
He is fucking on.
The ghost of Macho Man?
He's fucking on point.
Ooh, yeah, dig it. He got the voice. He does the mannerisms
Does
and
he look like
everything.
him?
Oh my God.
Really?
Dig it, brother. Look him up.
What
on
is his
YouTube.
name? Literally the ghost of Macho Man?
Look him up on YouTube when you have a chance. The Ghost of Macho Man.
I'll link it on the
Freak Show
thing.
Wrestling, maybe. It has
Really?
something to do.
Is it in Vegas?
It's in. I believe it's in Vegas.
Is this
Yeah.
for Wes's show? Wes Logan, maybe?
No.
Okay. Anyway. All right. That's it. I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Please come out.
Can I give an impression? I'd
Sure.
love to do
Yes,
it.
let's
Do you
give
have
an
any?
impression.
Hang on. Do you do any impressions?
Not any good ones that are appropriate on this
All right.
podcast.
Well, I'm gonna give a couple of mine. You ready?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something, dude. Hulkster's gonna run wild all over you. Okay, so
So
my
that was Ric Flair, right?
that,
No, I'm fucking with you.
and then
Big man walking around. Woo!
Jay does a great.
I
Ric
know.
Flair.
My when I do a Ric Flair, I could never learn from listening to Ric Flair, but I learned from Jay impersonating Ric Flair. So my impersonation is Jay doing Ric Flair.
Your impersonation is of an impersonation.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Because I guess I've listened to Jay so much,
Yeah. So I
that
also do
I can-
Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah. Dig it. The cream rises to the top.
But my favorite is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Just the humble son of a plumber. My little boy, Cody Rhodes, he grew up nice and tall and blonde. He's beautiful. He's going to be a new next world champion.
It's pretty good.
I like Dusty. I'm a big Dusty fan.
Did you ever meet Dusty?
I met Dusty several times at FCW back in the day. He was always such a pleasant human being to be around. He was always nice to me. He never shit on me. He knew I was like aspiring to be a worker and did local indie stuff. And he was always he's push on, baby, push on. Just keep pushing. Don't let them hold you down, Daddy. You just keep on working, okay?
That's really cool.
Yeah, he was
That's
always
awesome.
He was
I
always
wish I
super
got to meet him. I never did.
cool. He was always super cool.
You know what would be fantastic if we would have got to see Tweedle Die versus the American Dream.
I would have probably either had a heart attack in the ring or just in my pants.
Oh jeez. Oh my. Sorry, we're getting a little wild. Yeah, we're getting a little giddy.
It's late, Dax. I'm tired. I'm silly.
Okay, I'm standing
get
between
wild.
Myself and Tweedle and food. That's not a good place to be. So,
I've
and
got food in
his
the
wife is
car.
waiting for her. I think.
She's hangry.
Yeah, she's hangry. She's probably texted
She's
3
probably
times.
sleeping by now. She's gonna wake up mad
She's gonna come wake up and. All right. Anyway, guys,
if I don't wake up tomorrow. It's because she smothered me with a pillow.
that's it. I'm ending this thing. I have to cut it. It's going off the rails, guys. I really appreciate everybody. Tweedle Die is in full effect here, guys.
But I don't want to go to school today. I want to stay home and bake cookies with you.
Oh, she's off the nipples. Damn it. Jeez. Oh, God. All right, that's it, guys. Bye. Ben, turn this shit off.
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out shoptampabayprowrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.